Greetings everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Art Makes Simple. My name is Stefan Edwards, I'm a visual arts lecturer, and today we're going to be exploring a new picture making technique. Now the technique that we're going to be exploring is crayon etching. Now crayon etching is a really fun and exciting technique, and it can really make your design look exceptional even if you can't draw. So let's look a little bit more into what crayon etching is. So I'll be doing a quick presentation to introduce you to the technique for those who don't know, and we're going to be looking at what you will need for the exercise. Alright, let's go.
Now let's look at what crayon etching is. Now crayon etching is one of those unconventional methods of making a picture. It involves the use of colors, contrast with a tone, or usually the shade of black to create vibrant effects. Now crayon etching has been around for a long time, but a lot of persons tend to shy away from it. But today we're going to venture a little bit deeper into it. Now crayon etching involves the use of two different material types. You either use wax crayons and black paint or black water-based paint, or you can use pencil crayons and then use a black wax crayon. Now the technique is all about a resist. What you do, you create a bond between the first layer of color and the paper so that it prevents the last layer, which is the black, from bonding to the paper. So it's like you give it a coat or a sheet of protection so that the paint or the black crayon doesn't bond with the paper and it can be scratched off. So when that layer is formed between it, and then you put that layer of black or that layer of paint over it, you find that it is not reaching the paper. Therefore, when you scratch or etch in your design, you'll find that it flakes off, revealing the colors underneath. It gives a very vibrant and beautiful effect, and it's very, very fun and exciting. So the name crayon etching comes from what actually takes place when doing the technique. Because what you're doing, you're etching away the outer layer, which is the black layer, to reveal the colors underneath. Now, if you notice that both techniques involve the use of crayons, whether wax or pencil, and then now they are the critical and most important elements in it. Because as you reveal the picture by carving it into the black, you realize that the colors begin to come out and show your design. Alright, so I'm going to show you some additional video links that you can visit. If this video doesn't help you or you would like to learn more about crayon etching, you can visit these video links here. Alright? Okay, so let's get back to the studio so we can complete our crayon etching exercise. Alright?
Alright, so now that we know exactly what a crayon etching is, now we're going to look at the one that we're going to do today. So the one that we're going to do today is this. Now unfortunately I had to do it twice because on my first attempt, at the end of completing the design, I realized that the video wasn't recorded, so I had to do it twice. Now if you ask me, I like this design a lot better. However, I like the colors in this a little bit more. So the color arrangement is, I prefer this one, but the design I prefer this one. So if you want to explore your different color arrangements, you can go diagonal, you can go horizontal, whichever pattern you desire. Alright, so ensure that when you're working on yours, you take pictures and you track the progress. So let's look at the items you're going to need for today's exercise. You're most definitely going to need cartridge paper. Now, cartridge paper is always recommended because it's a little thicker than the regular paper, and you can do a lot more with it in terms of moisture. Now you don't want to have a soft paper that will crumple when it gets moist or crumple when you try to apply pressure to it. So you need cartridge paper instead of the regular paper. Now, along with the cartridge paper, you're going to need a pack of wax crayons. Now, the wax crayons I recommend are always Crayola. They give you a nice, rich, vibrant color, and they tend not to flake off that easily as the others. So, wax crayons is next, and that's for the first layer. Now, after the wax crayons, you're going to need your paint. Now, I use regular house paint, flat emulsion that is, so you get a nice flat finish from it. Now, the water-based paint is important because you want the right amount of flaking when you are carving out your image. If you use acrylic for this, it will not work because the acrylic will burn and everything will peel off. What you need to get is either water-based paint, poster paint, or flat emulsion, or regular water paint. Alright, so any of those can work. You also need a big brush for the application of the paint. Now, if you don't have a big brush, that's fine. Use a small brush, it will just take a little longer. You just be patient and allow it to dry. When you're putting it to dry, please do not put it in the sun. If you put it in the sun, the wax crayon will melt underneath the paint, and that will cause the paint to start cracking up, and you don't want that to happen before you even start your exercise. Alright? In addition to that, you're going to need your sharp tool to carve out the picture. Now, whatever you decide to use for your sharp tool is fine. You can use a toothpick, yes. You can use a toothpick, you can use a hairpin, you can use a safety pin, you can use a bobby pin, or you can even use a nail. Alright, what I did for mine, I created a little pencil-like thing. I used the handle of an old paintbrush that I had, along with a little small nail, and I just cut off the head of it and just drove it up into the handle of the brush. So, if you want to make something like that, you can as well. So, in addition to those, you're going to be needing your protective clothing. Now, the protective clothing is very important. You do not want to get yourself messy, or you don't want to mess up your clothes when you're doing this exercise, because you're going to be using wet media. Alright, so that's basically all that you're going to need. Now, you didn't hear me mention pencil or eraser today because you're not going to need one for this exercise. Now, the sharp object that you decide to use will be your pencil today. No, you won't have an eraser, so you're going to have to try your best not to make any mistakes. But you're going to enjoy this exercise. So, let's get right to it.
Alright, so please remember that you do not have to do the same image that I am doing. You can try one of these images instead. Remember, the focus is not on the image, the focus is on the execution of the technique. So just have fun and enjoy the exercise. Now, this first part is an important part of the exercise. It's how you arrange your colors. Now, I like to show how I will arrange my colors by putting my crayons in the same order that I will be using the colors. That way I will have a good idea of how everything will flow into each other. You can go in any direction when you're putting on your colors. They can go horizontally, vertically, diagonally, or even wiggly or zigzag or spiral. You can even do it in circular motions. Alright, you can do it in shapes, whatever you feel like. Have fun and explore. But for me, I'm just gonna go horizontally, left to right, and I'm just gonna blend them coming downwards. Alright, let's watch. Now it's important that you ensure that you cover every single inch of the paper, because remember, the wax will be creating a barrier between the paper and the paint. If a barrier is not between the paper and the paint will bond with the paper and you will not be able to scratch it off. So every single white space that you see, try to cover that space with the wax crayon. Now I'll be going over, as you can see, I'm going over with a final coat, touching up all those areas that may have been missed while coloring. Alright, so the next step now is to just apply the paint. You have to ensure that the paint is watered out, ensure that the paint is not too thick, because you don't want it to peel off when you start to scratch. Alright, it's better for you to give it more than one coat than to make it too thick and give it one coat. Alright, so try to get it smooth, try to get it even, and ensure that there are no bubbles or anything like that in it. Alright, let's continue. Now once you have finished painting it, you're gonna give it some time to dry. Remember, we cannot put it in the sun, so give it some time.
A few minutes later.
Now that it is dried, we can now get to the fun part of the exercise. Now, if you see, I'm moving very slow because this part of the exercise requires a lot of concentration, because remember, if you make a mistake, you cannot erase and you cannot start over or correct. So you're gonna have to live with whatever decision you make. This piece of paper is like life itself. Whatever mistake you make, you have to live with it for the rest of your life, or you just have to make the best of it. Alright, so I'm moving slow because I'm trying to ensure that I do not make any mistakes, because as you can see, there are no sketches, there are no lines there. I'm drawing free-handed. Alright, so you're gonna have to do the same thing. You can use a reference, you can draw from your head, whatever you decide to do. Alright, and believe it or not, this is actually time-lapse, so you can see how slow I was actually going. Alright, so take your time, do not rush this part. It's critical to the whole look of the design. Spend some time, get it done, have fun with it. It's the fun part of the exercise. You can see the colors coming out, enjoy it. Alright, let's continue. Now, what makes crayon etching so beautiful and so exciting is the contrast between the colors and black. Now, the more you reveal the colors underneath the black, and the more you carve away the black, is the more interesting the picture will become. Now, removing the black entirely doesn't give you a beautiful effect. The effect is created with the contrast between the black and the colors, so that is important. Alright, so you're not trying to eliminate all the black, you're not trying to remove as much black as possible. No, you want the right balance of black and color coming out in the composition, because they work together to give you that unique, beautiful effect that you want. All right, let's continue. Now that we've completed the fish, we're going to move now to the different sections of the design. Now I want you to think of it as a composition, right? While the fish is a focal point, you want to create the right balance between the focal point and the background. So you want to create some images or some items in the background, and the more colors you pick out, the more colors you reveal, the more interesting the composition will become. So don't give up or don't stop when you feel like you've completed one section. try to create that level of balance throughout. Use up the principles of art to create this nice holistic piece. All right, so let's continue. So we're almost done. By now you can see the obvious patterns of the colors underneath the black, and you can see directly the choice of colors as well as the pattern and arrangement of the colors underneath the black. Alright, so the aim of the exercise is to reveal as much of the color as you can and to do so in a unique fashion. Alright, now remember, it's not about how well you draw, it's about how well you balance color with contrast and how well you execute what you have before you. Alright? Alright, so here's our finished piece. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. Now there's a lot of colors in it and you can see the colors peeping between the black and screaming at you. It's so nice and beautiful to look at.
So, we're finally finished with our crayon etching. What do you think, guys? I think we did an excellent job, and I'm sure and I'm so excited. I can't wait to see yours. I really hope you share yours with me. You can send them to me via email or you can send them to me via WhatsApp. I have no problem with that. I'm excited to see them. Now, until next time, guys, keep practicing. If you don't get it right the first time, don't feel bad about it. I mean, I didn't get it right the first time. So I tried again, and guess what? I improved. So it's human characteristic and human nature to improve with each attempt. So keep trying, keep pushing, and ensure that you just do it to the best of your ability. Do it to the best of your ability. Alright? So until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. All the best. Bye.